Hello, guys and gals, me, Mudahar, and anytime somebody sends me a Kotaku article, I immediately contact the Federal Bureau of Investigation because there's obviously something wrong. I shouldn't have any friends that want to waste my time this hard. Now, PlayStation 5 is about to come out this week, and I just wanted to let you guys know, you should feel bad for buying it. Oh, you getting your hands on a PS5? Ha, you privileged loony, what's wrong with you? Don't you know the world's in a state of pandemonium? How dare you buy a PS5? Now, PlayStation 5 reviews have been everywhere, and like anybody, I was looking into the reviews, I was seeing, hey, is the PS5 a good console? You know, is it really making people, rock diamond hard? Am I gonna be hard this Thursday when I get it in the mail? All right, now, PS5's been getting stellar reviews. Everyone's creaming about ray tracing. A lot of players have finally used an SSD for the first time. It's great. All right, perfect. So, some people are like, ooh, 60 frames a second? Constant? Yes! Now, there are some reviews that decide to take a much more, I would say, eye-opening look at the state of the world when it comes to the PS5. So let's read one of the greatest reviews of the PlayStation 5 ever. Now, this comes from our lovely friends at Kotaku, who have written a lot of pages. All right, I was sent this early in the day, and I wanted to really read it, to really understand it. And the actual article so far, for the most, is relatively okay. All right, they talk about the PlayStation 5 interface. They start talking about random stuff, how it records, how the fact that there's no quick resume, whatever. There are some definite caveats, like let's talk about the frame rate. For instance, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Performance Mode, which does away with bells and whistles like ray tracing and true 4K to maintain a consistent 60 FPS, is nice. I bet it is. But ultimately ends up eliciting the same reaction from me as movies filmed at anything higher than 24 frames per second. It just feels weird. I'm just gonna be real with you, all right? As somebody that's a gamer, right? Like, as somebody, you do realize movies, like I've worked in media, I know what 24 frames are all about. You do realize that movies and video games are inherently different. Like with video games, I'm like always interacting with shit. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was playing Death Stranding on PC, super ultra wide, like 144 frames. It just felt weird. Like maybe if there was a way that I could dial down the resolution to like 75% less and have it at 30. Oh yeah, console. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, you definitely get like weird misses and hits with this review. But this isn't the reason we're here. No. We're here for something even better. Now, does it really matter? Yes, does buying your luxury PlayStation 5 day one really matter? This review has spent 3,000 words talking about the PS5, which is the most I've written about anything. It's as good a video game console as there has been. The combination of ultra-high definition video, increased frame rates, high-end graphical techniques like ray tracing, and the lightning-fast SSD make it feel like a real-deal next-gen successor to the PlayStation 4. Oh yeah? Oh yeah, this is where we're all like excited, right? Like, okay, it's good. But it'd be remiss to ignore all the reasons not to be excited by the PS5. Now, what reason is there not to be excited about this awesome console that you've been, hyping up this last paragraph? The world is still reeling under the weight of COVID-19 pandemic. Ooh, way to remind me about that. It's not like we don't get constant lockdowns all the time, right? There are more Americans out of work right now than any point in the country's history, with no relief in sight. Our healthcare system is an inherently evil institution that forces people to ration life-saving medication like insulin and choose suicide over suffering with untreated mental illnesses. I feel like the PlayStation 5 isn't really responsible for any of that shit. I mean, yeah, I get it. The world's pretty bad, but then again, this is an international article, right? Like, this is written for a lot of people worldwide. You're really keeping it ethnocentric at this point. But that being said, though, I feel like these problems you're listing are definite problems, but they're pretty out of the scope of a PlayStation 5. Like, there's nothing that the PlayStation 5 can do to reform healthcare and reform various political inaccuracies in the country. It's not going to happen overnight, and especially not because of a Japanese mega conglomerate, mega tech company product, all right? It's not going to happen. As I'm writing this, it looks very likely that Joe Biden will be our next president. But it's clear that the worst people aren't going away just because a new old white man is sitting behind the resolute desk. Well, at least not this old white man, referring to the author, I believe. Our government is fundamentally broken in a way that necessitates radical change rather than incremental electoralism. Yeah, let's get some governmental fucking reform, boys, all the way through a PlayStation 5 review. I bet this is something that I would read in, like, Forbes, or, like, a political page and something like the Washington Post, not fucking Kotaku, but sure. The harsh truth is that for the reasons listed above and more, a lot of people simply won't be able to buy a PS5 regardless of supply, or if they can, concerns over increasing austerity in the United States and the growing threat of widespread political violence supersede any enthusiasm about the console's SSD or how ray tracing makes reflections more realistic. That's not to say you can't be excited for those things. I certainly am on some level. But there's an irrefutable level of privilege attached to the ability to simply tune out the world as it burns around you. Go fuck yourself, okay? Actually go fuck yourself. If you think the world is bad, let me just take the blinders off real quick. I hate how condescending this fucking article actually is. It's almost as if, like, they're trying to tell you that most of these gamers are people buying luxury products just completely conveniently tune out the rest of the world's problems. They do, actually. And this applies to if you buy a nice car, if you buy a graphic card that I can't get my hands on, if you buy anything nice, if you buy a home. Do you realize if you just bought a PS5, you're way better off than a majority of the world right now? I get it. You want to know the reality of the fucking world? There's bombs being dropped. There's actual war crimes being committed right this minute that you're watching. But you'll never fucking hear about them. They'll be lost in the pages of history. The world is a bad fucking place. It's why people buy video game consoles. It's why people watch movies, so they can have the hour, the 2 hours to sort of escape from the fucking world. And it's an escape that almost everyone can achieve over here, okay? If you save a couple bucks for a holiday sale, you can get your hands on a PS5. And that might be some people's vacation right there, okay? Some people can't afford to go to fucking Greece. So you know what some people do? Actually, they buy Assassin's Creed Odyssey and explore Greece to their heart's content. That's what some people do to escape from the goddamn world. Fuck you for trying to compare just what's going on in the country to actual fucked up events around the world. Listen, there's big problems. There's trafficking. There's fucking hunger. There's war everywhere. There's famine. But guess what? Okay? The PS5 is not responsible for any of that, okay? Simply buying one of these systems and using it for an hour or 2 hours doesn't make you complicit in ignoring everything bad. If we sat down and thought about everything bad in the world every single hour of the day, we would have a terrible fucking life. Because guess what? Even if we knew all the bad stuff happening nowadays, which we can, it's almost impossible for the fucking common person to fix it up. You don't change things. You don't make the world a utopian society in a matter of a day. It just doesn't fucking work like that. I don't know why this had to be added to this review. It just seems like way too out. It just seems like these words would have been nice, but to try and shame the audience for owning a fucking piece of hardware because there are much more quote unquote important things going on. No shit. It's a video game. Everything is more important than a fucking video game. But that's why people use video games. They use it as a form of relaxation and an escape from their day-to-day fucking mundane life. And I'm sorry that the author of this article couldn't just fucking understand that simple concept. I won't deny that video games can be an escape. It feels great to lose yourself in a fictional world where you can fix everything. Some of us see a strength or personality trait in video game characters that we wish we saw in ourselves. As much as it sucks for real-world problems, we get it. We're collectively tired, I'm sure, okay? That's why we escape. Thank you. Sony or Microsoft chose a hell of a time to release their next-generation video game console. I think PS5 is a great machine, but it's tough to recommend when folks are literally fighting for their lives while residing in the richest country in the world. Whew, a little hyperbolic there. I'm sure that when Microsoft and Sony were researching and developing these new consoles years ago, by the way, because that's how the development of this shit works, they totally timed it just in time with the global pandemic we all are going through. I'm sure that was timed so fucking perfectly on their end. I'm sorry that they didn't delay it or they released it earlier than expected. It just kind of fucking dropped on everyone. We're all kind of reeling from it, by the way. If you're in the same boat, I encourage you to grab a console and see what it's all about. If you aren't, don't feel like PS5 would change your life. It's a video game system, and it's not going anywhere. I'm looking forward to a time where we can all chat about next-gen gaming on equal footing, without a dozen daily crises looming over our heads. Until then, let's focus on what's truly important, even if that means dipping out of the next-gen hype machine for a fucking bit. Let me just tell you right now, okay? I'm gonna end this video where it is because honestly, laughing at this is just gonna lead to me having a fucking aneurysm. Don't feel bad about buying a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or a fucking dildo or like an RTX graphic card or a car or whatever, because guess what, okay? Life is short. It's meant to enjoy as much as you can. And if these are brief reprieves that you can have and you can afford, go for it. Don't feel fucking shamed because the world is a bad place. The world will always be a bad place. Since Eve first ate out of the apple from the Garden of Eden, the world was a fucking shit place, and it hasn't changed since then. But you know what? You can buy a PlayStation 5. And you know what you can do? You also can be a good fucking person to the world. Because the moment you start helping the people around you in your local fucking community, and you make the world a better place for the people around you, and you convince everyone else around you to do the same in their neighborhoods, then we all can have some semblance of a better society going forward. Anyways, that being said, I'm going to go play some Death Stranding, deliver some fucking packages. This is me, Mutahar, and to all of us privileged PS5 owners in the next couple days, I feel bad. And I guess according to this article, you should feel bad too. So yeah, this is me, Mutahar, and I am out.